All right, so I wanted to try Storm. I just saw it online, and I wanted to give it a try. It's like a virtual assistant from Stanford, and it kind of goes into the details. This is the web page, and you got to sign in. So we'll go ahead and just flip to where I'm signed in, because that makes life a little easier for me. All right, so let's think of a topic. Mm, how about how to DJ? Let's see if this works. Please elaborate. Oh, okay. All right. So how about music blockchain payments for streams? All right. Let's see what it says. Purpose of this article: we're gonna make a wiki. All right. So it says music blockchain payments for streams, generating your article. So it takes a little bit of time, but as you can see, it's kind of like a AI with a bunch of agents that go out and do research on the article, and then after they do research on the article, they'll look into um, putting together kind of like a research style paper. So I looked at it and I tried it a couple times, and it was pretty interesting. It goes through, shows where it collected the data from. It's actually pretty intense, but for free and for seeing how AI is going to be taking over, it's pretty cool. All right, so it looks like it's still collecting information on how blockchain and music could work together, and streaming. Right now, they do a lot of streaming, so it can make sense to have a streaming platform. All right, so it's collecting the information. Let's take a look. And there it is, finishing leveraging the internal knowledge of the large language model, LLM, or as some people might think of, the AI. Okay, so now here's the storm in the brainstorming process. And it's still going to take 3 more minutes. It's already taken 3 minutes. I should have had the stopwatch going. But typically, what I've seen looked pretty good. I mean, I was quite impressed with not only what it wrote, but kind of how the way it laid it out. And I think it does it different ways depending on how you do it. All right, so here's a summary: the integration of blockchain technology, music, historical context, technical framework, benefits, challenges, case studies, and then it goes into creating like a little bit of feedback for them. So it's a pretty good service. I mean, you know, and then what I typically do is I just hit, show as a PDF, and then it kind of gives you the PDF version. Pretty well formatted, and at least well documented, and everything's listed. So not bad for people who want to do like an analysis of something pretty quick. Well, actually, I should download it just to see if it works. Download. Oh yeah, it works. All right. Well, we'll save that somewhere. Let's call it. We'll just give it a quick name and put it somewhere where we don't have to pay attention to this kind of stuff. So anyway, yeah. So I kind of like dealing with all this stuff and having all these projects and seeing how it works. Yep, saved it. All right. So that's let's see what's on this side. You just have the breakdowns. Let's try one more maybe. How about let's see here. Video games and AI. Maybe this should have been the article I started with. Oh, it's going to be another wiki because we're just doing synthetic information, Mister Synthetic AI Monitor. All right, so video games and AI. This will be pretty interesting. I think for a lot of people, they may be wondering what would be a good intersection. I mean, I've obviously played a lot of games, and I'm real familiar with game logic and um, simulating enemies and opponents and things like that. And I don't know if they need to be smarter as well as it needs to be more clever. You know, when you're watching a good movie or you're watching or playing even a good video game and it unfolds with entertainment in a timely fashion, what I like to call the bite-sized concept, where you trying to get a entertainment bite at a time, it's much more entertaining. You know, having something that just kind of goes too far, too fast, or takes too long to get to a peak, it doesn't hold your interest. But it's kind of like that just right formula. It's one of the things we did at Capcom with Street Fighter. Making things balanced and making things work is what's important, especially when you're trying to deliver entertainment over time. And I think video games are a good example of how a well told, well, actually movies too, but a good story that's delivered well is impactful and, you know, is satisfactory as far as delivering entertainment. And I think for a lot of people, when they start to figure out where AI fits when it comes to video games, it's going to be tricky because obviously the player wants a good experience, but if the AI is too smart, it goes back to balance. So it's really not whether or not the AI is effective, it's whether or not the monitoring of the player or the balancing to the player in regards to the AI responses keeps the interest. Because it's easy to get bored. It's kind of funny how we look for patterns, and if the pattern's too simple, it's unsatisfactory. If it's too complex, it's frustrating. So there's a fine line. It's a balance. It's I think when you find somebody who's experienced at something, they can deliver that flow, that balance. All right. So it says the integration of artificial intelligence. You know, I should have it read all of this at one point. Maybe that's one thing I'll add to the scenario is the ability to read this kind of stuff. Actually, it's pretty interesting to be honest with you. Oh my gosh, I might actually have to take this text and publish it somewhere. Very interesting, very interesting. You know, I kind of like this. It goes into quite a bit of research for 5 seconds to type it, and maybe 3 minutes of my personal time. Interesting. All right, so that's video games and AI, and we're just gonna download that. Okay, good. All right, so yeah, that's Storm. Not a bad tool. I mean, you know, if you kind of need a virtual assistant and you want somebody to kind of come through and do the work for you, this is the Storm from Stanford University, and you know we'll just go through the intro again just so you can see it. But yeah, you might want to give it a try. I kind of think this might be the future of technology anyway. So, all right, thanks for watching. Peace.